So, I have thought far too much about doing this talk. I spent most of my summer with this going on in the back of my head. I didn't really want to do it, to be honest, because I teach at the School of Communication Arts, and I'm always talking to students who don't know anything. So everything I say is correct and relevant to them, okay? Because one of the first things you've got to do in advertising, because I come from advertising, I know, is who are your audience? So when Vicky asked me to do this, I said, who are the fucking audience? And apparently there's a whole array of people in here. So I wanted, as a communicator, as an ad man, to come up with something that was relevant to all of you. Which is a tough gig, which is always a tough gig, you know. So I think I've done that now, but I did spend a lot of time thinking about what I was going to talk to you about, and I'm going to tell you what I'm not going to talk to you about first, and then I'm going to tell you what I have actually decided to talk to you about at 5:30 this morning, because you always get your best ideas at the last minute. First and foremost, copywriting. What can I tell you? It's about choosing the right words and putting them in the correct order. Or choosing the correct words and putting them in the right order. Or choosing the right words and putting them in correct order. That's what it's all about for me. It's like fucking juggling words about and all this sort of stuff, right? But it doesn't matter how brilliant your copy is. It doesn't matter, because no one wants to fucking read it. Understand that. They don't want to read your beautiful words. They're not fucking interested. They're surrounded by communication coming everywhere. They're not interested. You might love it, it might be perfect, but they're not interested in it. The first thing you've got to do is get their attention. You've got to trick their brain. You've got to get them to stop and be interested in it. And I always liken, actually a great copywriter told it to me when I first started out. He said, ads is like writing gags. You do a setup and then you do a punchline, okay? And then I became a stand-up and I became a much better copywriter because I started writing gags. So you write something that the brain thinks it knows the answers to, and then you turn left, and then it's interested in it, and then it's engaged. And I've always had a good understanding of that. My first ever job, bizarrely, was selling advertising space. For a free newspaper in Hounslow called The Recorder, which some of you may remember. And I was in telesales, and I did two things. First of all, you've got to get people's attention, because we are salespeople. That's what you are first and foremost. Don't think you're fucking artists, because you're not. You're salespeople. You're commercial salespeople. That's your fucking job, yeah? So I was 16 at the time, and my voice hadn't broken. I only looked 12 when I was 16. So I quickly learned that the people I was speaking to, selling advertising space, which was a lot of garages and a lot of blokes with local businesses, that they thought I was a girl. Okay? They thought I was a girl because my voice was still high, it hadn't broken. So I started to use that to my advantage. I started to semi-flirt with them on the phone. Yeah? Because I've got their attention. I've got their attention. And now they're going to listen to what I've got to say, which is my pitch. And I would never consider myself a creative person. I mean, I do now, but then I come from a council estate in Norfolk. You get beaten up if you said you were a creative person. It's a ridiculous fucking notion. So I then got creative with it, because I used to say, oh yeah, buy an ad, and they're only little 3-inch squares in columns and stuff like that. I say, oh yeah, we'll turn it upside down. We'll turn it upside down. We'll put it in a square. We'll make it this. I used to do all sorts of shit like that. Yeah. So that was my first intro into it. And then in 1985, I went to Tenerife for a 1-week holiday, and I didn't come back for 4 years. I phoned my mum on my job. I had a different job then. I was an estate agent, and told them I wasn't coming home. They all went fucking mental, because I'd found a job as a timeshare tout. Now, some of the older people will know what timeshare is and may have experienced it. You go on holiday to the Canary Islands, particularly in the 80s and 90s, and your holiday would be ruined by people trying to get you to timeshare resorts. Every 10 yards there was someone pitching you. And then someone else was pitching you, and someone else was pitching you. And I was in that line of pitching, if you like. Hundreds of us all over the place. We're really poverty. We were all making a fucking fortune. But what I learnt about was getting people's attention again, stopping people. Again, I got creative. I used to say I was up for adoption. I used to say, oh, you've dropped something. I would just anything to get their attention in creative ways. And other touts used to copy and adapt what I'd said to stop their punters. So that was my understanding of getting people's attention. And say, I'm going to tell you a couple of things today that hopefully those of you who want to become great copywriters will note down. And I think studying gags is one of them. Read jokes, about people who write jokes and look at jokes, because that's your setup, that's your punchline. It's very efficient. When you do a gag, it's extremely efficient and it turns. So writing, if you're going to write copy and headlines, you've got to write a headline, you've got to grab their attention. Remember that, they're not interested in your fucking copy. Now, the main thing I need to tell you about myself is I cannot teach you probably anything about copywriting, writing copy, or writing copy as I call it, because I'm dyslexic. So I find it very difficult to write copy, actually almost impossible to write copy. I would rather put an IKEA cabinet together with pieces missing than sit down and write copy, because for me, it's very, very challenging, okay? So how do you succeed in a job with writer in the title if you can't write? That's a fair question. And the way that you do it, the way that I did it, was have good ideas. Really good ideas. Really good ideas are super fucking simple and they don't need many words. And that's how you do it. You get to the communication. But how do you come up with consistently good ideas? Now, you can pull good ideas out of your arse, okay? That happens, all right? But to get consistently good ideas, you have to, I believe, and it's my opinion, and other people have different opinions, it's all about strategy. Now, you hear all sorts of people from all sorts of professions in internal comms, oh, fucking talk about strategy. But it's at the creative end of it, when you turn strategy and propositions into creative work. That's the business end of it, to be honest. There's a lot, as far as I'm concerned, there's a lot of people in a lot of fucking jobs that are very unfucking necessary. I could talk to the client, understand their problem, write the proposition and create the work. All the other people are not really necessary, apart from the fact I'm maybe not the best person to put in front of the client sometimes, okay? So there do sometimes need to be a few layers. I mean, I have called a client a cunt before, you know, and because he was being a cunt, yeah? And the weirdest thing happened. The managing director, I said to my partner, we're going to get fired. We'd only been fucking hired 3 months. I said, we're going to get fired. And he said, oh, I said, sorry about that. We got back to the agency, and the managing director came up to me and said, I heard you had a bit of a thing with one of our clients. And I was like, yeah, sorry about that. And he goes, and it's the worst thing that ever happened to me in some ways. He said to me, no, I think it's you who needs apologising to. Heavy, huh? So that's not good for your ego, because advertising fuels your ego anyway. Everyone's running around, you're great, you're fantastic, you're great. So now I'm a bit cocky anyway. Now I've called a cunt, and it's really, probably should have been nailed down there. I'll take liberties wherever I can. I'm a proper, genuine, creative person. I'm a rebel. I'm trying to fuck things over. I'm trying to change things all the time. I actually only went into advertising, and I went to the school that I teach at now because I wanted to learn to mass communicate, to create a revolution. That's why I went to the school. I didn't go in there to fucking earn loads of money at advertising. I was like, this is shit, what's going on. I want to change it. The way I'm going to do it is I'm going to learn how to mass communicate, make communications. You know, one of my dreams would be like a fucking war, doing propaganda. That's what it would be. But for me, it was a war. It was a war. I'm going to learn how to do it, and I'm going to make enough money in advertising to buy my own billboards, and I'm going to fucking change the fucking world. That's what I went into advertising, yeah? Unfortunately, that didn't happen. You know, I was naive. I was young and naive and angry and all that sort of stuff. So, so those things didn't happen. But that was my motivation. So when these students come into me now and I ask them what they want to do, oh, I just want to be a gnarly creative. I actually want to fucking punch them. What do you mean you want to be a gnarly creative? You have a gift here, and you've got to use that gift whenever you can, I believe, particularly if you get high up in the industry and you get the ear of a client with a lot of power and a lot of money, to influence them good. That's what I try and instill in my students. Let's do something good here. Do you know what I mean? You get an opportunity. And that's what John Gillard, who taught me at the school, tried to instill in me. But I couldn't I couldn't handle the business for long enough. I think, I'm just going to check my thing here because I've been banging on and I've just got to check that I told you about that. Oh yes, I do want to make this point before I go. I tend to meander. So I want to make this point about people not being interested in your work and grabbing their attention. And also the job that your job is to persuade people to do something they're not already doing generally, or to continue doing so. But generally you're persuading them to do something else, okay? People don't really want to do that. And I'll give you a very real example for you to think about whenever you're writing an ad or writing a bit of copy about how people don't want to change something. By show of hands, how many people in here have watched Game of Thrones? So pretty much most of you. Now the other people have probably been approached by someone they know to watch Game of Thrones. They've probably gone on at you about it quite a fucking bit. Have you watched Game of Thrones? You haven't? You must. It's the best TV show in the world ever. And you meet resistance. You're telling them it's the best TV show in the world fucking ever. They're not interested, okay? They're not. You can keep going. And I'll tell you one of the reasons why they're not interested, and it's something you need to bear in mind when you are making ads and thinking about propositions and thinking about strategies. You need to give them a reason, a benefit to them why they should change their behavior. Just telling someone it's the best thing in the world doesn't fucking work. It doesn't. It's got to be the best thing in the world because it will do this for you, okay? That's what it's about. I was wondering whether to say this to you or not. I think if you they were talking about the men-women thing, so I'll go on the men's side. If I was trying to persuade a friend of mine, a male friend of mine, to watch Game of Thrones and told him it's the best fucking show in the world, and he wasn't fucking watching it, I might say, look, it's like being able to watch porn and wank off to it without any chance of the missus coming down and catching you because it's just on the telly and it's a TV show. That might be a motivation for him to fucking watch it because there's something in it for him, you see. So there's always got to be that benefit. Now, I want to... So that's very important. It's very important. People do not want to change. You've got to give them a reason. So when you're... Part of the problem in this industry is that everyone's a bit scared about losing their job. You know, the client's scared about doing this and everyone's scared about doing that. And it's just I don't know. I'm going to talk about what I was going to talk about. But first of all, I want to show you something. I'm going to show you strategy. Propositions are so simple that they are very hard to understand. It's very hard teaching them. It's very hard understanding propositions. It's a bit like teaching someone how to ride a bike, okay? At the college, the students have 40 people shouting at them how to ride a bike, okay? And they're all saying it slightly differently. And as you know, you can't actually ride a bike until you click how to ride a bike. But in simple terms, the proposition is what is your communication? What is your message? What is the one thing? You can't say two things. You can only say one thing. What is the one thing you are saying that is going to be compelling to them to act how you want them to act? That's what it's about, okay? It's very, very simple, but you've got to get that communication and then you've got to turn it into creative work. And planners and all the people that get involved in building briefs, I've done advertising for 20 odd years. I had 2 briefs where I didn't have to change the proposition. It was already turned into creative work. So as a good creative, you have to be a planner first. You have to look at the strategy thing and flip it over so that you can turn it into work. It's that leap you take. That's all it is. So that I would say the planner's proposition is very different to the creative proposition. But what they do is they drop you on the pitch, facing the right way, hopefully, and you've got to kick the ball in the net. Okay. And planners aren't creatives because they can't do that. So they don't necessarily know whether their strategy turns into creative work. But that's why you get the big bucks. So I want to. So for me, it's about the idea. As I said before, if you have really good ideas, the work will write itself, which is what I had to do because I can't write. The work will write itself. If you get a great idea, a great strategy, the ads will just go like that, and you can give the work to other people, and they'll know what to do. Okay. Also, another reason to do great ideas is that you can protect them. Great ideas are very simple and they will have rules. They will have rules around them. And what you'll find with your work, the greatest time as a creative is in your office late at night with your partner when no one's there and you crack the brief. You know you've fucking cracked it. It's the greatest time. I would urge you to stay in that office as long as possible. If you've got another 3 days till you have to deliver the fucking thing, stay in the office with your idea. Don't take it out because people are going to try and fuck it, okay? From the moment you take it out, they're going to try and fuck it. Your creative director's going to try and fuck it. The producer's going to try and fuck it. The clients. There's a queue of people waiting to fuck your ad, okay? Which is another reason why to have strategy, because you can ration it out and you can defend your work. I would say after a period of time of being a creative, the easiest bit is having the idea. That's the easy job. Getting that idea out in one piece past, I call them cunts. They're not all cunts, I just prefer. Past all the cunts trying to fuck your fucking ad is the hardest thing, okay? And if you've got an idea, an actual idea, you can defend people off. You can say, no, you can't because that will break the rule. I wrote and produced a sketch show for Fox, okay? And we were satirising satellite television. So I'm very proud to say I spent £1 million of Rupert Murdoch's money taking the piss out of Rupert Murdoch that was broadcast on his channels all over the world, okay? The premise was that we're satirising the programmes, and we got all these great people around us, like you do. You must surround yourself with great people. It's very important. You can't do this stuff on your own. Another thing that occurs to me, a great gift for getting your idea through the thing is whenever you can, be generous, put your ego away, and allow people to chip in where they can and let them think it's their idea. No one's going to fucking push your idea through greater than they think they're part of it. That's a real trick, to put your ego away and let them and take things on. I'll diversify a little bit. Very important when you're defending your work to know what you can give away, because you will have battles, okay? There are things that you can give away and there are things that you cannot give away. You have to know the difference, okay? So if it's red and the client wants it yellow and it doesn't matter, give them the yellow, okay? Give them and give everybody along the way what they want if it doesn't affect the idea. But you have to understand the idea, know your idea inside out to be able to do that, okay? So that's how you get it through. You give them stuff. But when they want to change something fundamental, you have to fight them, okay? Now, Steve Henry would say the way to do that is to be, what's his 2 words? It is politely obstinate. That's what I've heard Steve Henry say, be politely obstinate. Now, my approach, as you might know from my character, is not that. Mine is to be belligerently defiant, okay? I would now, if I was back in the game, I would be erring on Steve's side of the thing, you know. So know what you've got to you've got to defend. So understanding your idea. Also, I'll come to that. So I want to try and. It's very hard to do it in this short space of time. I want to show you what I think is a fucking great ad. Is it going to work?
We had to remind moms that ragu was kids' favorite pasta sauce. Advertisers are quick to paint childhood as idyllic, but the truth is that growing up is really, really hard. You have no money, everyone can tell you what to do, you can't even watch an R-rated movie. We called this the tragedy of childhood. Treating kids to their favorite meal, in our case their favorite pasta sauce, is a simple way of comforting kids after a long day. A fully integrated campaign of TV, radio, display, mobile, and social was born. And it all started with this TV spot.
Mom! Hey, Mom!
Parents in bed, but it's just 8 o'clock. That's why they taught you should always knock. You need ragu, 'cause growing up's tough. Give him ragu, he's been through enough.
A long day of childhood calls for America's favorite pasta sauce.
So, that is a brilliant fucking advert. It is a brilliant fucking strategy. They recognised that being a child was difficult, okay? People hadn't taken that position before. Being a child is difficult, and they should have some comfort food, really. Now, it could have been any fucking food. There's always been a great argument, isn't there? If it's generic and anyone can say it, then you shouldn't say it. I'm not a believer of that. I believe if you say it first, no one else can say it, okay? There's lots of sources that could have done that. There's lots of foods that could have done that. It could have been a biscuit. It could have been anything like that. But the thing that they recognised was that it's tough being a child, and you should have this, you should have some comfort food at the end of your day, okay? So if I gave that to any of you as the brief in here and said, right, it's tough being a child, write loads of fucking things, you could all do it. Because the idea was so simple and the strategy is so clear and the ads write themselves, okay? But getting that simple, getting in that place is the toughest thing. Now, as a creative, I would consider myself when I was doing it, I still freelance now, but not very much. I'm a director now, but I'm sort of not very successful at that. It's not really working out for me. And I'm not really enjoying it because I write better than the scripts I get to direct. So whenever I get a script, I always think, this is shit. And I write a new one that's better. But they don't want to do that because it's been through all the fucking research and all that stuff. So I have these, this problem. I don't really want to do fucking shit ads, to be honest with you. So that's I can't remember what I was saying about writing things. So fine. Can anyone remember what I was just saying before that point? No, you're not even listening, are you? Fuck you. Okay, so we've done the ragu ads. Does that make sense to you? Taking the position, the angle that no one... Oh, that's what I was going to talk about, yeah. The difference between a good creative and a great creative, okay? I was a good creative, okay? But I wasn't a great one because the great ones keep going when they've had a good idea, okay? It's very tough to come up with a good idea. You come up with a good idea and you go, I fucking cracked it. Ooh, I can chill now. The great ones put that aside and they go again. And that's very hard because it's like you're problem solvers effectively and you've cracked it and your brain doesn't want to go again. It's hard. But the great ones go again and go again and go again because there's always a better idea. There's always a better way of doing it. And that's, if you want to be great, just get another one and another one and another one. So keep going. That's what I try and instill in my students. So I've seen that one. I know I'm running over, but I don't care, okay? I told them earlier, they said, we're running early, we're going to stall it. I said, don't fucking stall it because people will run late knowing I was going to fucking run late. And the ladies, they banged on a bit, didn't they, to be fair? They'd gone, I would say it if they were real, I wouldn't say it behind their back, but they fucking banged on. So here, look at this ad, look at this ad. You know this ad.
These days, lots of busy mums are noticing that their favourite mashed potato rattles. This is because it contains the real potato pieces that ensure a mashed potato that tastes absolutely perfect.
That is good.
And we think you'll find nothing else will seem quite the same again.
For mash, get smash.
Now, that ad is 47 years old. It's nearly 50 years old. Oh, what's happened? Does everybody know that ad campaign? Does anybody not know that ad campaign? Okay, I'm going to let you off and say you're from abroad. Yes, you are. They're from abroad. Because you can't not know that ad campaign if you fucking want to work in advertising. It's one of the greatest advertising campaigns of all fucking time. It's 47 years old. The product is at the centre of that ad campaign. The benefits of the product, the reason why you should buy that product is at the centre of that ad campaign. If you watch all the Smash things, the product is at the centre of that campaign. It's not talking about creative or something else. It's giving you a reason to buy the fucking product. And it was shit, by the way, if anyone fucking tasted it. It tasted like cardboard. But the ads have lasted that long, okay? Now, I'm going to show you another ad. Because it's great watching ads, isn't it? Why are we in the business? Why are all of you in the business? Because you love ads. You love great ads. We love great ads. We love watching them. When Miles showed his fucking beautiful Christmas ad before, the room was palpable. It's like, we love it. This is why we're here. This is why we're fucking in advertising. And you fuckers have forgotten that, okay? So look at this. This is one of my favourite ads of all time. I fucking love this ad.
Don't talk, don't touch, don't walk at night, don't walk on the right, don't drink, don't think, don't smoke, don't do drugs, don't do beef, don't do junk, don't be fat, don't be thin, don't chew, don't spit. Don't swim, don't breathe, don't cry, don't bleed, don't kill, don't experiment, don't exist, don't do anything, don't fry your food, don't fry your brain. Don't sit too close to the telly, don't walk on the grass, don't put your elbows on the table, don't put your feet on the seats, don't run with scissors and don't play with fire. Don't rebel, don't smack, don't touch, don't masturbate, don't be childish, don't be old, don't be ordinary, don't be different, don't stand out, don't drop out, don't buy, don't read.
Fucking brilliant. Isn't that fucking brilliant? You know, I moved from M&C Saatchi to Lowe's just as that came out to go and work for Charles Ng, who'd written that. It was really intimidating to go and work for a man who wrote something so brilliant. But again, it's a brilliant ad. The product is at the centre of the fucking idea. Again, if you watch the Guardian ad, which came out a little bit, a few years before that, the one with the skinhead running down the street, you know that ad? Fucking brilliant. Makes the point. The product is at the centre of the thing again. Remember that it's got to be at the centre of the thing, okay? Now, let me just check what... this one. Now, that ad is the reason why I quit advertising. That's my ad. I wrote that ad. And I fought tooth and nail for that ad. I used all the experience I'd had in advertising. I used all my experience I'd had as a human being to get that ad through. It got killed at every juncture. It got killed every fucking time. Research killed it. Everybody killed it. And I kept getting up and I loved it and I kept rewriting it. Started off in a school and then there's this, and it started off in Rangers v. Cell and they killed it for this reason. Then it went to research and they killed it for that reason. And everyone fucking kept killing it, but I wouldn't give up on it and I kept rewriting it and putting it fucking back in there until Mr. Carling got it, the chief bloke of all the thing. He got it. He read it. He loved it. He didn't give a fuck about the research. He didn't give a fuck about anybody's opinion. He loved it. We're fucking making it. And that's what happened. Now, if I could have just had my meeting with him in the first fucking place, it would have been a lot fucking easier, I tell you, okay? Now, there are journeys through making an ad. There's battles that you fight and you stick with. Now, I fought everybody on this, but every fucking thing that I wanted. That ad is full of ugly people. Now, much uglier than I've wanted, actually, but ads were historically full of pretty people. You have pretty people in it. They said, well, I've got pretty people. It's, you know, and I said, no, we're not going to have real people in it. So that was one of the battles I fought. I can't remember, but basically I fought loads of battles, and I won, and I was right, and it came out, and everybody loved it, and I had people phoning me from festivals saying there's 50,000 people singing woohoo, woohoo, okay? And when I gave up on the revolution, one of the things I decided I wanted to do before I left advertising, because I was pissed off of it before this point, is I wanted to write an ad before I left that everybody would know in 30 years' time, okay? That is that ad. That allowed me to leave, because I couldn't leave until I'd done that ad, and after that. But the nail in the coffin was, a couple of years later, I was given the brief to write the next big Carling ad, and I was having the same arguments with the same people about the same fucking things. And it was too much. I couldn't do it. because I am a fucking expert at what I do. I am an expert at what I do. I'm a wonderful manipulator. I know how to I've done it in different formats. I've been a stand-up for 15 years. I can walk in any room, anywhere, tell my jokes to various audiences. I know what I'm doing, and I want to be left alone to do what I do, okay? You can't persuade people to do something if you're asking them about the persuasion, what they think about it. There's a TED talk, I don't really watch TED talks, there's a TED talk by someone who says that the decision people make about buying stuff like that is not in the new brain, it's in the old brain, and you actually have to just appeal to their emotions. It's worth watching. I think if I do go back into the business, I will just show that to the client and say, look, everything you think and all the research is factually irrelevant. You've just got to make the emotional connection as well as, there's reasons. So there's a much bigger subject. We haven't got time for that. So that's why I quit. That's why I quit advertising. And I had a fucking phenomenal start in advertising. As a student, I loved posters, as I said. I love posters. I was lucky enough to turn up at M&C Saatchi on placement on £50 a week and get one of the Silk Cut brief. And my partner and I did fucking 200 or whatever. And we did this while we were on placement on 50 quid. Not that one. We did this ad. Well, I was on 50 quid. I'd won Poster of the Year and all the fucking awards and everything that was going with it. But you'll notice, again, no fucking words. There are, but someone at the government wrote that. And that's, But that gave me, I was lucky, it gave me a phenomenal start. It opened doors. It became, it's sort of like, and then it moved up to TV. Because though I can't write, I can write dialogue. I'm really good with dialogue. I'm really interested in people, and I think there's another thing lots of people say, the internet and studies. I believe in studying people. I think people is the way to go. So don't walk around with headphones in. How can you be fucking communicating with a fucking population if you're not even fucking listening to what they're saying? So be there, be present. Go to things. Go to fucking bingo if you've got to talk to those people. Go and hang out in the places where the people that you're talking to are talking and doing their shit, and observe them and be there and go on your own. Don't go with fucking other people. Go on your own and be there and observe and absorb. That's something that I tell my students. So I'm going to finish now, but the reason why the thing I decided that I was going to talk to you about was, we've established that you're here because you love great ads. You got into the business because you love great ads. We all love great ads. So why, those of you, and it's relevant to you, are you approving shit ads? Why are you writing shit ads? Why are you fucking arguing for shit ads? What the fuck are you doing? You need to fucking stop it. Stop that shit, okay? Nobody likes a shit ad. You're polluting us. You're polluting my children. They're watching your shit ads. 98% of ads are shit, and it's your fucking fault. It is. So, it is. If you... I was speaking to the lovely client who's talking later. I was talking to Hayley, the innocent client. She said, I'm a terrible client because we keep changing our mind and we start doing, and all this sort of stuff. And I said, no, you're not so bad really, but actually you are. Do you know what I mean? You've got to be brave. You can't write ads you can't buy ads that sell you the product. You love the product. It pays for your kids to go to fucking school. It pays for your life. It pays for everything. Of course you love the product. It's not for you. It's for people who aren't interested in your product. That's who you're writing to, and you need to cap their attention, and you need to entertain them. First and foremost, if they're not entertained, if they're not engaged, they're not fucking interested. Fact. So get that there, and let's get advertising great again. Why do you want to, let's have a look at this little list here, okay? Why do you want to be connected to shit ads? You know when it's shit. Why are you buying it? Why are you writing it? Why are you anything to fucking do with it? If you've done a good ad, it's a completely different kettle of fish, isn't it? You can take it to your fucking, the people you trust, the people who'll be honest with you. And if it's not very good, you don't show it. You don't really show it, do you? Because you know in your heart that it's shit. So just up the game, basically. But look at this list. Who doesn't want to be on this list? It's the 100 greatest ads of all time. Now, there's some on there, Guinness and all that sort of stuff. Smash is on there. There's a lot of ambiguous ones in there. But these are great things that people remember. And if people remember your great advertising, they will buy your product because they remembered you. If you just fucking annoy them, they're not going to remember it because they actually switched down and shut off, okay? So that's what I decided at 5 o'clock this morning to talk to you about, to get you to all up your game, and stop fucking settling for stuff and really go and get great work out and fight for great work and don't accept it, okay? Because, as I say, if you do good work, people will like you, people will be interested in your product. You've got to get your messages right and all that sort of stuff. But fuck me, it's all shit, isn't it? It is, isn't it? If I turned on the telly now, we would be hard pushed to fucking find an ad that we all fucking liked, yet you're all pumping it out in your various fucking ways. And the power of advertising, I'll show you the power of advertising. It's not on there, but it was voted recently in some poll the greatest UK football ad of all time, which I didn't vote for it. I voted for the fucking Nike ad because that's much better. But you know, social media and my fucking cousin got on the case, I think. Now I'm going to leave you with this. I'm just going to show you this, and then we'll go to lunch. I know they're getting nervous now because I'm running over, but look how brilliant this is. How brilliant is this? And it's relevant to the women who were talking before, in a way. I think it's one of the greatest bits of work ever. Ever. I won't play it all.
Hi, Erin.
Hi.
Okay, so I'm going to just give you some actions to do. Just do the first thing that comes to mind. Show me what it looks like to run like a girl.
My hair. Oh my God.
Show me what it looks like to fight like a girl. Now throw like a girl.
Aw. My name is Dakota, and I'm 10 years old.
Show me what it looks like to run like a girl. Throw like a girl. Fight like a girl. What does it mean to you when I say run like a girl?
It means run fast as you can.
So do you think you just insulted your sister?
No. I mean, yeah, insulted girls, but not my sister.
Is like a girl a good thing?
Actually, I don't know if it's a bad thing or a good thing. It sounds like a bad thing. It sounds like you're trying to humiliate someone.
So when they're in that vulnerable time between 10 and 12, how do you think it affects them when somebody uses like a girl as an insult?
I think it definitely drops their self-confidence and really puts them down because during that time, they're already trying to figure themselves out. And when somebody says you hit like a girl, it's like, well, what does that mean? Because they think they're a strong person. It's kind of like telling them that they're weak and they're not as good as them.
And what advice do you have to young girls who are told they run like a girl, kick like a girl, hit like a girl, swing like a girl?
Keep doing it because it's working. If somebody else says that running like a girl or kicking like a girl or shooting like a girl is something that you shouldn't be doing, that's their problem. Because if you're still scoring and you're still getting to the ball on time and you're still being first, you're doing it right. Doesn't matter what they say. I mean, yes, I kick like a girl and I swim like a girl and I walk like a girl and I wake up in the morning like a girl because I am a girl. And that is not something that I should be ashamed of. So I'm going to do it anyway. That's what they should do.
I think the point's made about that bit of work, and it's an amazing bit of work, and it's changed people's perception because it's taken an idea. And I'm going to leave you with this thought, really. We are surrounded by ideas. Our society is confined and defined by ideas, okay? If you're going to be really great at this job, you need to understand that because different cultures have got different ideas. And to really entertain, engage people, you have to be on the edge of ideas. When I was a comedian, I was always on the edge of ideas. You watch my stand-up, I talk about overpopulation and killing people. I talk about immigration, on the edge of acceptance. And you've got to be able to understand that everything is an idea, almost everything is an idea, and you need to play with them. And if you're going to change people's perceptions about stuff and make the world a better place, you've got to be changing people's perception of ideas. You've got to be changing the ideas that they believe in, okay? And we're a long way from fucking that. But pieces of work like that do that. So if you're a client in here, I want you to start doing great bits of work. And if you can't do great bits of work because it's not inherent in your fucking product to do it, why don't you just do this instead? Why don't you just run an ad saying, we couldn't think of a brilliant ad that would entertain you, so we decided to give the money to fucking charity instead of running it on ads. People will like you for that, and maybe they'll buy your product, okay? So start thinking differently about how you're doing stuff and and just try and make the world a better place with your money, with your power. There's enough shit in the world. The news is shit. Everywhere you go is shit. People ask me, I go in a shop, they say, are you having a good day? And you know, oh, no, as I'm leaving the shop, sometimes they go, have a good day. And I think, oh, fuck off, mate. You know, that's fucking impossible almost. That's set the fucking bar high, do you know what I mean? It's really difficult. You having a good night, mate? You having a good night? Yeah, it wasn't until you fucking come and ask me. I've lived long enough to have all of my days are like a 5 or a 6. It doesn't, you know. So within your power to make that a 6.5 or 7 with a brilliant bit of communication, a brilliant bit of entertainment. Keep the product central at it, but use the money to make the world more fun if you can't make it better. I'm going to leave you with a thing about copywriting, because I can tell you something. If you want to check your end lines, if your end line's any good, I love writing end lines. I'm brilliant at writing end lines because it's a summation of the idea in a few words, and I fucking love it. I'm brilliant at it. If you want to check it, and you can check this back, because if you think of any great ad line, any of them, this will go on the end, and this is how you check it, okay? If your end line, you can put on the end of it, you cunts, okay? It works, okay? Think about them. Just do it, you cunts. Every little helps, you cunts. Okay, whatever, you cunts. That's how you check your end line. So you can have that if I didn't hit you with anything else. Thank you very much.